Hi guys, welcome back to the weird side of YouTube. I'm your host, author DC Knipe, and I think this is going to be a casual Fridays, I'm not sure. But today we have a special guest, Lisa. I did her eyelashes, gave her some eyeliner, and some little jewels. I'm also going to paint some purple eyeshadow right here, and some lipstick. I was going to give her some crystal eyebrows, but she said she didn't like those. She preferred like some mystical beads right here like I do. She said she liked that more. But her makeup is not done, so I hope you guys are excited as she is. Okay, but today we're doing a poetry tag called Poetry Tag Questions for Poets by Amanda Conover. She wrote this, made it herself on June 28th, 2020, and it's on amandaconover.com if you guys want to see it. But there's only 20 questions, so it might be a quick little video, I don't know. If you don't know, I am a poet. I have a lot of, or at least I try to be a poet, a lot of spoken word poetry videos on this channel. I also have spoken word albums available, link in description. And I am going to come out with a poetry book eventually. It was going to be this year in time for Halloween. It was going to be all my spooky poems, a collection of them. But I already have 2 short stories and possibly a 3rd one coming out in the vein of horror this year for Halloween, and I don't want to oversaturate the market and overwhelm you guys. So we're going to postpone the poetry book for now. But yeah, let's get started. Alright, number 1. What is the earliest poem you wrote, or the earliest one you remember? There's 2. The earliest poem I wrote, I was about 10 years old, and my sister wanted me to try to write a poem because she was really into it. And it was very dramatic about the end of the world because I used to have a lot of anxieties about the end of the world. I used to have panic attacks about it. Not so much anymore, because I feel like sometimes I feel like the world is so fucked up that it kind of needs to end. Maybe that's just my depression. But either way, I don't have that fear anymore. But I remember some lines of it. What if the world should just cease to exist? No one knows but God, and sometimes it feels like he doesn't even care. That was the end of it. I don't remember the beginning of it. It was only like 10 lines, maybe less. It was very emo, very dramatic. But yeah, that's the first poem that I wrote. I might have wrote like some for classes in elementary school. I'm sure I did, probably, but this is the one that I wrote for me. The first one that I wrote for me. 2, do you come from a literary background? I do. My aunt is an English teacher, I believe. She's some kind of teacher. And my grandpa had books published, I mean, but they were about taxes and governmental stuff. He was also a professor at a college. But my aunts also say that I am a direct descendant of Geoffrey Chaucer, the author of the Canterbury Tales. And I don't have any proof of that, but I also don't know why they would lie to me about that, so I choose to believe them. And I only say I don't have any proof of that because I haven't seen it. I'm sure they have some proof of it, but I just haven't asked. I just took their word for it because they're my aunts. Why would they lie? But and I do think that he has some of my. I have some of his. I'm not gonna say talent because I'm not gonna put myself way up there and get a big head. But I am gonna say that I think some of his like passion for writing came into me. Like it's in my blood. Number 3. How and when did you first get into poetry? Like number 1, the answer to number 1, my sister. She was a very freaky art chick, and that's a compliment. Examples of freaky art chicks are like Bjork, Tori Amos, that really weird but also weirdly comforting and cool energy from like an artistic woman is a freaky art chick. She was very into drama. She's a drama teacher now. She was into music and writing, and she had a lot of anger issues as a kid because of trauma, and she was like, something that's really cathartic for me is writing poetry, how I feel, and she had me sit down and clear my mind and write a poem, and out poured the end of the world poem. 4, who are your favorite poets? Edgar Allan Poe. This might come as a surprise, but I like gothic stuff. So Edgar Allan Poe. I'm also really into Sappho. And I know that's weird because I'm a cis dude, but I'm gay. I just think that she's like a lesbian poet from like ancient Greece that wrote about her like love for women. But I think that lesbians are cool. I think love between two girls is beautiful. Just like I think love between two boys is beautiful, but like two boys is obviously sexual to me. Lesbianism is not, but it's just pretty. I don't know how to explain it. I enjoy lesbian stories, lesbian characters, lesbian poetry. I just find it beautiful, and I'm sure that a lot of people think that's weird, but I apologize. Those are two of them. I have a lot of favorite poems and poetry and poets. 5. What are some of your favorite poetry collections? I do have a collection of the complete works of Edgar Allan Poe. I have a book of Celtic poetry that I really love, and I have a book of Native American poetry that I really love. It's all a different tribes and different individuals, but I also think I have a book of haikus. I do have a book of haikus, modern and ancient, whatever, Japanese. I love haikus. Haikus are cool. Which poems are you most embarrassed by? The ones I wrote in high school. Just like the stories I wrote in high school, I'm very embarrassed by them. They're just not very good. Also, I was super fucking horny, so everything had sex in it. Like everything. And everything was emo. Just sexy, sad shit everywhere. Which of your poems is your favorite? I have 2 favorites right now. My Legend, which is about King Arthur and Merlin, and Blacksmith, which is very political. It's about, I wrote it when Trump was president, so, yeah. That's all I'll say about that. There's a video of it on this channel if you want to look it up. Not My Legend yet, though. I haven't done My Legend. Is folk poetry your favorite genre? If so, have you always known that you preferred poetry to prose? I don't really have a favorite genre. I literally write everything. Romance, horror, fantasy, like all intertwined. I can't really do a genre. Even my poems have different genres. Sexual, sensual, romantic, horror, poetry, like Edgar Allan Poe, weird, just out there, freaky art chick, like I said, poetry, with strange metaphors and similes. And now a word from our sponsor, me. We're back. Did you miss me? There's no really boundaries for me when it comes to writing. Everything's all a mismatch. 9. What is the greatest poetry writing related advice you have ever been given? From my sister. If you want to make it rhyme, if you want to have rules to it, go ahead, but art is art, and rules are meant to be broken in art. Make what you want, make what you feel, even if it's fucking weird, nobody gets it. It's for you, not for anybody else at the end of the day. If they like it, that's great. If they don't, fuck them. Number 10, what is the most unique thing about your poetry? I feel like it's uniquely me. I don't really have a preferred style, sonnet, rhyming, not rhyming. Every poem is different. It depends on what I'm trying to write, what I'm trying to convey. So I think the most unique thing about my poetry is that every poem is different. Differently done, different topic, sounds different, different energy. It's just all of them are very different. 11. Have you ever published any poems before? If so, where? A long time ago, I had a book of really cringy, an ebook of really cringy poems, self-published, but I took it down because it was bad eventually. And like I said, I had Blind, the poem, published in a high school newsletter. So yeah, we're not going to talk about that anymore. 12. What qualities do you admire most in a poem? If it makes me feel something. Like, I know a lot of YouTubers do, like, modern poetry where it's, like, 2 sentences long and it's something, like, sassy and quirky, like something you'd find in a tweet in 2012. I don't like that. It's just kind of annoying. If you can fit it in a tweet, it's not really poetry to me. I shouldn't say that. There's some short poems, 1 to 2 sentence poems that are really beautiful, that actually mean something. But this kind of stuff just is vapid and shallow, and it's meant to either piss you off or, like, I don't know, I just find it cringe. You can just tell that they weren't really trying, that they don't really feel anything, that they think poetry is something that you post on a tweet to get likes. Qualities do you admire most in a poem? I think, is that what I just answered? Because I got on a huge tangent. I like poetry when it makes me feel something. 13. What are some common themes, ideas featured in your poetry? Sexuality, supernatural horror, just weird shit, anger, revenge, depression, mourning, like mourning the loss of someone, romance. Just basically everywhere. All my poetry is everywhere. 14. How long does it typically take to write a poem? Just to jot one down, it can take anywhere from like 5 minutes to 5 months. I gotta perfect it. I gotta work on it. Yeah, it's just different with every poem. Sometimes I scribble something down and it's perfect and I love it the way it is. Other times, there's some poems I haven't released ever, and they're like years old because I don't feel like they're done yet. I don't feel like I've experienced something yet that I need to write my feelings about and add it to that, which I don't know if that makes any sense. 15. What is your writing process like? With everything, I usually do research, and then I put down like feelings that I want to convey, and then I really get into like the headspace of like nothing but those feelings, and then I let everything pour out. What is your revision process like? A lot of alcohol. Revision and editing takes a lot of alcohol, and I know a lot of people are like, write drunk, edit sober, but I fucking hate editing and revising and editing and revising. It's so miserable, almost like that's the work part of artwork. You do the art, then you do the work. You gotta perfect it, you gotta make it marketable, you gotta make it relatable, and sometimes I do that if I'm gonna release them. Others, like I said, with the freaky art chick weird shit, I just leave it as is because that is the poem. It's just fucking weird. It's meant to be weird. It's meant to make you think. It's meant to make you feel. It's meant to make you wonder. And in that sense, those poems can mean anything to anybody. 17. Have you ever experienced writer's block? If so, how did you get through it, and do you have any tips for people who may experience it? I have a whole poetry album called Writer's Block because I hate writer's block. My writer's block is a literal Rubik's Cube, and when I have writer's block, I just play with it, and it gets me out of my head to the point where I can write again. I don't like writer's block, but that helps me. It's like an off-brand Rubik's Cube. It's over there. I don't want to get it right now. If you want to see it, I have a video all about writer's block, but it's from Japan, it's off-brand, it's pastel colored with different colors on each side. It's really pretty. 18. What quality do you wish your poetry contained more of? I really want more of a classic feel like Shakespeare in my poems. I recently tried to make a Shakespearean sonnet, but it ended up being very sexual. Which is still a sonnet, but I kind of want to make like a whole album of like Shakespearean inspired poems. I have that sonnet, and then I have a poem called Dear Ophelia, which is about Ophelia from Hamlet. But yeah, I wish my poems felt more classic, because that feels timeless to me, but mine are very much a product of my time. 19. What is one of your favorite lines from a poem you wrote? It's from Blacksmith. Blacksmith is very political. Something about starving in the land of gold while our king grows fat and old. I don't remember exactly, but it's something along those lines. Number 20. What are some of your poetry pet peeves? With mine or with other people's poetry? Because with other people's poetry, I really don't like it when they use lazy rhymes. Like me with C, or I don't know, God with odd, or just, I like weird things that don't really rhyme but kind of rhyme, and I know that's kind of breaking rules, but that's what I do. Poems that sound like you wrote them in elementary school. I don't like simple poems. I like really complicated emotions when it comes to basically everything, and I don't know, I just like poems that are weird and out there and make you think, which I write a lot of. But that comes down to write what you don't see, which I do with everything. Poetry, stories, everything. But yeah, that's all 20 questions. And again, that was by Amanda Conover at amandaconover.com. She published this in 2020, probably because she was suffering with very, very, very tumultuous amounts of boredom, because that was during lockdown. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. And I love you guys. I'll see you guys next time. And the next time you see her, her makeover will be done. Alright, love you guys. Bye.